all started. So that was the first song that we wrote, and that very much informed the direction where we were going to go musically. It seemed to connect with people quite instantly, and you know, if it wasn't for that first statement, you know, maybe we wouldn't be gigging around the world. If we'd released another song first, maybe it wouldn't have had as much impact. At the time of writing, I was working temporary work where my girlfriend was working at the time, and I was just doing like data entry, but I had my laptop with me, and I was like playing with sounds while I was typing in, you know, numbers. And that really isn't my kind of work, but I needed some money to pay off like a student debt. But I was actually working on Shelter Song while I was working in this office, like with headphones on, you know. When doing something quite boring, I think your inspiration is even more clear. You know, you're not inspired by working on a computer, you're inspired by the ante of that. And I think that's probably what inspired the rest of the song. It's a few influences that people wouldn't think we're into, but certainly, you know, the Zombies, the Beatles, the Kinks, the Stones, David Bowie. I was a bit obsessed with Elvis when I was about 7, and that made me pick up the guitar. And the first few songs I learned were Elvis songs. That was a little bit of an obsession, and I used to love watching the films and stuff. Not really understanding it, you know, because I was such a young child, but yeah, probably Elvis mainly, yeah. There's almost not a difference between if you play down a pub to 20 people that love your music to whether you play to like 5,000 people, because other than it being louder and the crowd being louder, it's still people enjoying music and uniting through it. So, I mean, recently we did the Bataclan, Paris, and that's quite big, but that didn't feel big. It was like, felt intimate enough. Sometimes at festivals it can get a bit lost on big stages because the crowd are so far away, but so you wouldn't even know whether they're enjoying it because you can't hear them, they're that far away. It's not that dissimilar to songwriting. I think you just make decisions based on instinct, and there's a bit of science behind it, I think, but I don't know what science. I just, you know, if you want something to sound good and sound a certain way, you instinctively find that sound. And yeah, it's not like mathematical, so it was a very free and uncompromised experience doing it that way. And it meant we got everything to sound exactly how intended, instead of, you know, agreeing with the producer saying, yeah, that will do. You know, nothing did. It wasn't that will do. It's like, that is it, or it's not. There's no in between. So. Keep in the dark to stare.